How's it going, listeners? This is Link, and you're listening to Lynk-On Media Podcast. We definitely have to do like a Picard season three, because apparently it's pretty good. People are telling me it's really good, so I think when we come back, we'll definitely do that.
Yeah, sounds good. I have to
Uh,
and I have to watch it because
yeah,
I haven't.
yeah,
Yeah,
I hear it's good. Skip the first two; it's awful.
that's what I hear. This is just like Luke. You only have one shot at Patrick Stewart. You only have one shot at shit Hamill, Mark Hamill. You only have one shot at him, and like from what I hear, they're messing it up.
Yeah,
And in my
that's
opinion, they messed up Luke a little bit. So
well,
whatever.
and that's like a 4 or 5 hour topic right there. So, anyways, let's
Mm-hmm,
let's get
mm-hmm.
into let's get into the Oscars. So the Oscars just
Yeah.
happened Sunday night. Was it Sunday or
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Sunday.
this Sunday night. Everything Everywhere All at Once was the biggest winner of that year. And the crazy thing about it is that it's basically a sci-fi kind of fantasy movie.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
The
didn't think,
Oscars never nominate these or have them win.
yeah. Wow, I didn't know that. Well, I was surprised it would win too, because when I watched that movie, there's a moment where um they have to do something, some like action to like get uploaded more, like a different perspective from another universe or whatever, right? And
Right, yeah.
and one of them, like they're fighting a goon or something that's part of the bad guys or whatever, and they look at a pretty phallic object, and you know instantly what they have to do. And I'm sitting there, like, I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, that's funny, that's pretty bold, but they're not gonna do it. I mean, but that's funny, that's really funny. And then the dude jumps from from a cubicle away, like with his legs spread, and he falls on it. And I was like, and then they fight with, like, those, like, those dildos, I mean, or phallic objects in their
Yeah, wasn't
butts.
it like they try to like do it like dildo chucks or some
I
shit?
think they were
Like it
like,
was
yeah, and they were like trophies or whatever. They were like different phallic objects.
right,
And I
right,
was
right,
like,
right.
and just on that scene, it was bold. And I love weird, the stuff I do borderlines that weird stuff too. And I loved it, but I was like, there's no way that they can't win the Oscar from. There's
There's
no
no way
way.
it'll win. And it won, apparently. It
It
won
was,
everything.
it was great. There's hope for humanity. Like when a movie like that can win, there's hope. And it's amazing.
Like I honestly thought it was the Banshees of Inisherin that would have won it. Because it
Or
it had like
yeah.
a lot of nominations. It had about 9 nominations and it didn't win none. It won none of them.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. And then also, I didn't realize until I was watching that All Quiet on the Western Front was nominated too, and I was like, a
Yeah.
war movie? Are you crazy? That's going to win, of course. That won't win any. How it seems to work with Oscars is it will never win the Best Actor or any of the like other things, but it will win the Best Picture.
The
So
usually the war films. Yeah, the war films
yeah.
usually. But I mean, there was that one time they chose Shakespeare in Love over what was it? Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but Harvey Weinstein was buttering them up. I mean, come on, let's
Yeah. There was
lol
another.
Harvey.
Yeah, there was another great moment in Everything Everywhere All at Once that I'd never realized I could be so shocked, and so because just horror, and you see gore, and you're like, oh, this is nasty, bones breaking in wrong directions. But when I saw Kwan, when I saw him take a sheet of paper and do paper clips between his fingers, and the webbing of your hand.
Oh
When I
yeah, that
saw
affected me
him,
more.
when I saw him do that, that affected me more than breaking bones, watching gore and shit. I was like, I that was so hard to watch. Yeah.
Maybe we're just so desensitized to that now.
Paper
I think
cuts are like the
yeah,
shocking thing now.
we played Mortal Kombat way too much. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy how because I didn't think All Quiet on the Western Front would have beaten out like Top Gun Maverick
Mm,
in sort of the other categories.
yeah,
Like the sound, I thought Top Gun would have. Well, it did get sound and
yeah,
but like cinematography and that kind of thing. But then when I think about it, it does make sense. It is a beautiful film, like a
yeah.
beautiful like it's dark and it's muddy and it's dirty and all that. And I actually liked it a lot better than 1917, to be honest.
Yeah, and it has like a lot of like the wars and stuff, like they have emotion just inherent in them. But what was great about Everything Everywhere All at Once was like it had that anchor of family, and like the I feel like the mother-daughter relationship is one that is it's tough. It's some tough for whatever reason. It's maybe because um they're almost the same person, like a mother and a daughter.
Yeah.
But I feel like in many cases, it's like a mother son, a dad daughter. It's like kind of, for whatever reason, a little easier relationship. But like a mother daughter relationship is so great to see on in a story, because I feel like it's a more um conflicting and dramatic relationship.
Well, yeah, that's why I think that's why it also was the one to pick because I mean it is the one with like a fully Asian cast and
Yeah.
everybody was just fantastic and it was such a creative like there is no other movie like this
No,
that I've ever seen.
and I think like when especially for like Asian people, they don't get characters that are um this interesting. And it was the same for a long time
Not in
for
Hollywood.
black.
Definitely not in
Yeah,
Hollywood.
one for black people too. Like it you were maybe a bad guy or something, and you were like, and this affects society's view of you, and I think in like the 80s, 90s or something, there were like, uh uh black men were like they got the real like kind of seedy roles. and
Yeah.
um and then of course, shocking flash forward, depiction of black men is it's for whatever reason has like some underlying feeling. It's because I was raised on this movie or that movie, and it just depicted that sort of thing. So it's like representation is more important than we can even realize.
Yeah, it's
And
definitely well, yeah, for but it's also how it's being represented that is important.
yeah, the
Like I think it's
characters.
important to see like sort of different races in different roles that aren't like it's cool to see like a black doctor on Grey's Anatomy or something like that. Like just
Yeah.
someone who isn't, you know, a basketball player from an inner city or but there's nothing wrong with those types of roles. It's just that it's just great to see a wider spectrum rather than a rapper or drug
Yeah.
dealer or I
Yeah.
mean, hey, I love The Wire, but we can't
Yeah.
just be all in the just in The Wire. I'd love to be in to see my people in Grey's Anatomy or like Bridgerton or something like that. Like just
Yeah. Yeah. And
something
I
like
can
that. But
and you can tell now, like whenever I watch a movie that kind of accidentally for whatever reason is doing that, uh they cast maybe the wrong way. I'm like, dude, come on. You're like, what are you doing? But then with Ki Kwan, so like he's an Asian guy, and he is amazing in this film. And so now in 2023, I want him to be the next Indiana Jones. Like, I don't care. Like, do it, Disney. So
I wouldn't go that far. I would like to see him in a particular show or something like that. But then again, I've seen Willow and what Lucasfilm has done, and I'm not really impressed.
mm,
So I would like to, if there's a short round show, I would want like a proper director and it
sure.
can't be on Disney Plus or anything like that because they pad for time. They, like I've seen those first two episodes of the Mandalorian, man. It's really disappointing. So,
Mm,
but anyways, I don't want to make
mhm.
it about make it about the
Yeah.
Mandalorian. That's gonna go But yeah,
You're a huge Star Wars fan, so and
yes,
I know this because you accidentally left a whole bunch of Star Wars figurines when we lived together,
right,
when you
yeah.
moved out. So,
Well,
but
I was, but
oh, okay,
nowadays I'm just
not so
like,
much.
what are you doing, man?
Yeah,
What are they doing? They don't understand. Anyways, yeah, let me
yeah.
not get into it. That's a whole other.
Well, I'll be getting back to that everything everywhere. What I like about the emotional part, like what I
Yeah.
loved, it was like a really great quote, which I have a little issue and a funny way about was I had to look it up. So it was the doing laundry and taxes get there. So it's like so the quote is, so even though you have broken my heart yet again, I want to say in another life, I would have really liked just doing laundry and taxes with you. And as an amazing quote, um, my only issue with that is, and this is like a whole another different subject. I don't think we should be doing our own taxes. Um, uh, H&R Block and all them are lobbying the government hard to not allow us to have our taxes done because the government knows what we do. But somehow we have to do our own taxes. We have to do like all this minutia BS. So, anyways, that's my
That's
two
what
cents.
you got.
That's
That's
what
your
I got from it.
takeaway.
That was my takeaway.
I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is actually my favorite movie of last year. It was that neck and neck with Top Gun Maverick. And I know
Mhm.
Top Gun Maverick wasn't going to win. I mean,
Why was it under so best adapted screenplay? Maverick was for nomination as well as like Glass Onion, and those are sequels.
yeah.
So that was weird to me that like best adapted screenplay, those
What
were
was
up for that.
All right, so the best adapted screenplays, it was All Quiet on the Western Front, Living, Women Talking was the winner. Women Talking, that movie is absolutely fantastic. And
I
as
haven't seen it yet.
for a chauvinist like me, who can admit that. No, but seriously though, this is I saw it. I didn't I thought it would have been boring. It is gripping. I wouldn't say that I enjoyed it. I mean, the subject matter is really effed up. So it's not a movie you can enjoy, but it's just a well produced, like every actor in the film. Like this is one of the best ensemble pieces that I've ever seen.
Mm,
Like Sarah Polley, she's the lead actress in Dawn of the Dead.
mhm.
She's directing this, and it just gave me 12 Angry Men vibes. You know what I mean? Like every
Okay.
actor is a piece of this ensemble, and they're doing there's not one actor that is weak. You know,
Yeah.
the children were great. The elder women were great.
Yeah.
The uh, I'm trying to Rooney Mara, I think her name is. She's
Mm,
one of the actresses. She's fantastic in it.
mm,
Um, so when it won Best Adapted Screenplay, I was like, yes. And
yeah.
the fact that they didn't give this woman a nomination for Best Director,
Mm,
like I'm not like trying to make like a feminist statement or anything, but she is one of the best directors of the year last year,
yeah.
like
Well,
without a doubt.
I love Jimmy Kimmel's sort of joke. Do you remember that? He was referring to James Cameron,
James
and
Cameron, yeah.
he's like, I don't know why James Cameron wasn't nominated for Best Director. Maybe they thought he was a woman. And people didn't like his comment about it, but I don't think they understood Jimmy Kimmel was shining a light on that. Like
Yeah, it was he was
making
advocating
yeah.
for
So
women directors, and honestly, I like that was a big oversight, I
yeah.
think,
Mm,
because I didn't even know that she directed this film. I didn't even know about the film until it got nominated. And
yeah.
but anyways, that
Well, there was another talking about women directors and producers. There was I don't know if you mind me jumping to because I remember um there was for best short documentary.
Uh-huh.
There, so and I'm not a big Oscar buff, but like I did notice this sort of snub. They didn't music up people a lot for their speeches, but for best documentary short they did. And so this was Elephant Whisper. It won best documentary short. This is an Indian film, and the director, female director, Contiki Gonsalves,
Hmm.
she spoke, and you got about like 45 seconds of speaking. I think that's roughly it. She spoke for like 43 seconds. This was I timed this. It was about that, and then her producer Gunit Manga,
Hmm.
she stepped up and she got musicked out.
Oh, right.
Uh,
Yeah, she didn't.
so
There was that. Yeah.
so
I
you're like,
mean,
okay, yeah, right. It's fine. Of course, you can't do, you can't do everybody. But here's the rub. In the next block, it was best animated shorts.
yeah.
The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse won for best animated short. It was two white British guys. Um, the director spoke for 42 seconds, and then the producer spoke, and nobody musicked him out.
What was the time
And
on that?
that one I don't know, but it was probably just about that, like about 40 some as well. Um,
Come on,
and
Academy. You got to do better than that.
yeah, and what sucked was producer of Elfin Whisper, best documentary short. She gave the speech in the back, in the back room because she got music. And in her speech, it would have been great if the Oscars had this speech. She said, "Tonight is historic. This is the first Oscar of any Indian production, and two women here won this. I just want to say to all the women watching, the future is audacious, and the future is us, and the future is here. Thank you." It was a really good moment. And I don't know why they musicked her. And they, if you're gonna music somebody, be consistent with the others. So
Yeah. I kind of wish they would have cut some of Jimmy Kimmel's bits just to have like more uh just so
mm,
that people can have their time. Like I don't listen to all the Oscar speeches, but they need that time to just,
yeah,
thank who they got to thank and then move on. I think,
yeah.
but it is what it is. So
Now,
I don't
yeah,
know.
and speaking of music, the one other funny thing I noticed, and this isn't the same like anger. It's just sort of a funny thing. So it was the best composer, All Quiet on the Western Front, Volker Bertelmann,
Yeah.
Bertelmann. He spoke for a minute and 37 seconds. And I kind of noticed, I was watching him, like he's a kind of, meandering and stuff, not as eloquent maybe. It was fine. It was a good speech, whatever. But it was, meandering. And I was joke I was joking that, like, well, he's not going to get music because, I mean, the orchestra is not going to music the best composer.
You're not gonna music the music guy.
You're going to
That's
music your own people.
that
Yeah,
would that would be a bad look.
yeah, yeah.
As we're talking about the best director, they didn't nominate James Cameron this time, which
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know about you. I didn't really like I mean, I didn't hate it, but I didn't think that the new Avatar was up to snuff.
I hate to say that's one of the films I should have seen, but I have not seen it.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
But it looks like from the trailers, it looks cool. I wonder, and of course, I don't know what um, story they're going to tread here, other than it being underwater. So
Yeah,
um,
it's um yeah, it's basically they just meet a new tribe
dude,
and
that was
then
in the trailer. That's what
yeah.
I was worried it was going to be, just a spectacle, and that's it.
Yeah, it's pretty much it. Like I think the it's basically like a really expensive tech demo and it just shows off like the water simulation, which is fantastic. Like it
Mm,
is some of the best underwater stuff.
yeah.
Like I mean, it's kind of unfortunate that Wakanda Forever came out the same year because they kind of have blue people that live underwater and it doesn't look anywhere as good. So it was very unfortunate for the
Yeah.
Wakanda Forever special effect team.
Yeah.
But
Do you
Avatar,
yeah.
the like the visuals is, I mean, it's James Cameron. What are you gonna do? It's
Yeah.
pretty.
Well, do you think so something, and I'm sorry I'm jumping, but like just to regarding Avatar, uh so Guillermo del Toro, he
Yeah,
won for best animation,
best animation. Yes.
Pinocchio. And I wanted to ask you, something he said on stage was sort of saying that, I don't know exact quote, but like he's like, yes, this is best animation, but I would like to hope that like people start viewing animated films as straight up best picture type things, best something beyond the genre. There's
Yeah,
thinking,
keep animation in the conversation,
yeah, exactly.
which I fully agree with them. I think Pinocchio was one of the most visually arresting films
Mhm.
of last year. I think it's better than a couple of the best picture nominees. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Uh, I'll
Well,
also, yeah, what were you saying? Sorry.
oh no, no, go ahead. Sorry.
And we were sort of in a time where because budgets are being cut and you're hearing about all these layoffs and whatnot, animation is definitely on the chopping block. Like a lot of
Yeah.
projects, especially from Warner Brothers, are being canceled
Mhm.
because, I mean, they're broke
Yeah.
basically. So I don't know how Velma got through though, with all the animated projects that got cut. That one seemed to
Right.
have got through, but whatever.
Right. Well,
Um,
I brought I brought it up because I wanted to ask you, controversial thought.
mm.
Should Avatar: The Way of Water been a best animation category?
I mean, that's a pretty good point actually, because that's kind of what I thought with the first one because the first one was what like 60 something 70%
Mm,
animated.
mm,
So I don't know. It's sort of in that sort of weird sort
yeah.
of realm. Like, where would you put the Lion King remake? Like, that's completely
Oh,
animated, even though they were
yeah.
striving for realism.
I don't. Yeah, that's a good question. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where. I mean, I think and I guess that's what Guillermo del Toro's point was. Um, some films are going to start pushing that not ambiguity, that um it it could, yes, it's a best animation, but it's possibly a best picture and vice
Yeah,
versa. So yeah.
yeah. What's keeping it from being in the best picture category?
I suppose story might be, but I haven't seen Pinocchio. I mean, I know the story, but um maybe if I had to point to okay, what keeps it from the best picture, story might be the thing. I'd be curious to know if like, and again, Pinocchio might have done this. If like if an animation um checks all the boxes of a best picture, drama, spectacle, all that. I wonder what the Oscar, or what the Academy would have to do there.
Well, there has been. I'm actually looking up. So Beauty and the Beast, I believe, was nominated for Best Picture.
Oh wow, the,
Yeah.
the
So
animation.
was Up. I
Yeah.
think Toy Story 3 was up for it as well.
Okay.
So a lot of it is sort of Disney movies, but there are some anime. Fantastic Mr. Fox should have been nominated because that movie was fantastic.
Mm,
That's one of my favorite movies
yeah.
from Wes Anderson. But
Yeah.
yeah, there is a. It's only been like what 3 or so in the last how many years
Mhm,
of Oscars, and
mhm,
and like those older Disney movies like that, those should have been like Best Picture nominees easy,
mhm.
like
Yeah.
Lion King, Aladdin, Snow
Yeah.
White, Beauty and the Beast. All these, I believe, are good enough to be Best Picture.
Yeah.
nominations, but whatever.
Well, do you think and I haven't seen it, so I'm kind of asking, having been a Marvel movie, a superhero movie,
Uh-huh.
um did was Wakanda Forever, like, should it be in the conversation of Oscars? Like,
Is it like a best picture, or like should it be nominated for the various things? I think
yeah, yeah.
I would say I think I don't think this movie's as good as the first one, and I don't think the first one was a best picture nominated film. I think it's definitely an MTV Movie Award best movie winner for sure. Like
Okay.
it's because it's one of the cool it's the coolest Marvel movie, or one of
Okay.
them. It's like in terms of coolness. And this one I would say technically, because I
Mhm.
think the cinematography was really good. It was the best cinematography in a MCU movie for me.
Okay.
I think Angela Bassett, I think she should have got the award, to be
Okay.
honest.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah,
So
I think
I
so.
haven't seen her performance, so I don't know.
I think so. And
Versus
Jamie Lee Curtis,
Jim Curtis, yeah.
like Jamie Lee Curtis, like she's great. She's really great in Everything Everywhere All at Once. But I don't know, man. Like I just thought Angela Bassett just came with it in Wakanda Forever. Like she
Okay.
came, like there was just a lot of pain in her voice, a lot of strength, a lot of gravitas. It just hit me. Like
Did
that
you,
performance
yeah.
hit me.
Do you think, and that's what I'm wondering, do you think because it was a superhero movie, I wonder if, like, the Academy, like, sort of didn't take it as seriously, or what? I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm just one, because Angela Bassett is amazing, and I've of course I saw Jamie Lee Curtis's performance, and obviously we saw that Angela Bassett was not happy with the results, of course,
Yeah.
and I could see that, because I mean Jamie Lee Curtis was amazing in it, but of course from her perspective, it's like, well, Jamie Lee Curtis had sausage fingers. Are you telling me that that'd be my performance out? What I'm saying? Like, maybe
like
she saw it from that
but yeah,
perspective.
like just looking at it like that, she's basically then she loses to sausage finger ladies.
Yeah.
And when you look at it like that, it's so funny.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's kind of what?
Yeah. And she deserves, I mean, same, Jamie Lee Curtis also deserves. Everybody should win. Like Angela Bassett and Jamie Lee Curtis, they both need to get an Oscar.
Yeah.
They've done such great it over the years. It's like you have some actors that, like, are have done so many things, and you're like, they haven't won an Oscar yet. It's crazy. So
Harrison Ford has never won an Oscar. He got nominated once that I remember, but he never got one.
yeah, that, I mean, that he's done. I guess he tends more towards more of the action stuff, but he's done some
True,
more.
not really dramatic stuff.
Yeah, he's
But
done some though. But yeah, you're right. I mean, he yeah,
Bruce Willis never got one.
Bruce
I don't think
Willis.
Tom Cruise got one. He got nominated a couple times, but he never won. Yeah, there's guys out
Yeah.
there that never got it. It was just too elusive. But then there's like 3-6 Mafia has an Oscar, and they got their Oscar before Martin Scorsese did.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's just, the planets have to align. It's a bit of luck here and there, and
Yeah,
it's yeah,
it's a gamble. It's the project. It's
yeah,
what
it's
are the
stupid.
voters' mindset at the time? Because 5 years ago, would would this movie have won? Maybe not. 10 years ago, maybe not.
It's also politics.
Yeah,
Politics
because
of
you do
this.
get some really questionable, you do get some very questionable choices sometimes.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Crash comes to mind,
Mm.
and now that I like have thought about it, yeah, maybe. What's the cowboy movie again?
Oh, minute. Wait.
Ang Lee, Jake Gyllenhaal, like that should have won
Oh, I
that
don't know.
year.
Okay.
Like,
Hmm. Well,
like it.
I mean, my personal favorite, why I don't like, why I'm a little bit sour on the Oscars sometimes, is when, for example, they two big things was like, Moulin Rouge wasn't didn't win. And I think the year after, give or take, Chicago won, which was, you know, a musical as well. And I
Yeah,
just
and I
thought
wasn't
like,
really
yeah,
like Chicago was just an easy, like it was the easy choice for the Academy to
yeah,
go for it. Like it was
yeah.
technically impressive, but it was just,
And Moulin Rouge might have like softened the Academy to like musicals. So it had to maybe pave the way. And
yeah.
you know, it was that and um the more
Uh,
recent one that I was a little bit hot about was Creed. I thought Creed was an amazing film that I thought Michael B. Jordan should have been nominated. The film should have been nominated. Um, but the only person that was nominated in that whole movie was Sylvester Stallone for best
yeah,
for
he
uh,
did get nominated for that, right? I didn't dream that.
he
That happened,
got,
right?
yeah, he got nominated for it. And
Okay, good.
you know, it was a time when, granted, you know, I think that was like in the height of it when Oscars were being kind of scrutinized about like their picks and stuff. And that was for me really, because I thought Creed was like, I thought it was such a beautiful story because I'll die on this hill, like at the end, it you know, you have a character who has his rough spots and stuff, and why does he have this trauma and stuff,
Yeah.
and you hold out till the very end why he is who he is. And Michael B. Jordan like delivered right before his final like fight or whatever why he feels the way he is, or I'm sorry, why he fights throughout the film.
Yeah, why he fights, yeah.
And because he's not a mistake, you know, I'm not a mistake. And it was such a powerful moment. And I thought,
Like he wants to live up to the legacy that
he's got
you
that
know?
with Creed, with pop, with his dad. We knew all that, but like what we didn't know in the story was he wanted to prove that he wasn't a mistake. And I thought,
Right.
and if it's been a while since I've seen it, but I think I remember that was roughly his quote at the end, and I thought it was so
Yeah, yeah.
beautiful. And I thought I was a little angry at the Oscars for not even nominating it. And then the only person they nominate was the only white guy in the film. So sorry. That's it.
uh,
that's my only rage with the Oscars. I love it. I've actually loved it this year. Like, you know, since we were going to do this, I watched it, and I got you got me back into it a little bit, so I like it now. But I had some like issues, a few small issues. So
yeah, that's fine. I mean, you have more you probably had more issue with that than I did. I kind of sort of write off the Oscars as being just well, they're just gonna give it to like whatever biopic or whatever
sure,
Victorian era drama that the British comes with, or just something
sure,
like that. It's just
yeah. And
it's the same
awards,
thing over and over again. And that's why I love the fact that everything everywhere all at once did, because one,
mhm,
and it won so big, because not only is it like an unconventional choice, that movie is basically a movie you make when you only have like when you don't think you can make another movie, and
sure,
this is your last shot, and you just throw everything at the
yeah,
wall and you
yeah,
just go in and you're like, I'm gonna make this the best movie I can make it. And
yeah,
that's what happened.
yeah,
That's what happened. It's not a corporate sort of thing. It's not an Oscar bait kind of thing.
yeah. The
It's
script is
just,
just bonkers.
yeah. and
It's
and
great.
I'm that's what I kind of like A2A. Like they have some, is it
Mhm.
A2A? Did I say it right?
A24.
A24, sorry.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's why I
It,
like A24. I mean, those guys, like I really like the movies that they produced. It's a lot of heart. It reminds me of Miramax back in the day,
yeah,
like
yeah.
that Kevin Smith, Quentin Tarantino era,
They're doing a lot of creative things. Yeah.
very creative, very creative.
Yeah.
So what other
Well, you know, the last thing I'll say on Everything Everywhere All at Once, what I loved is
mm,
the co-direction. Because I've co-directed here and there when it serves the purpose. I think when we were brought up as in film school, it was we in our rattled in our brains as the Spielberg, like, and we're, it's we're going to be, this, we're going to be director and we're going to do this and stuff, and you quickly realize like and again, like I said before, like some of us got it, some of us didn't, but some of us were like fixated on this image of what a director is, and I think I love that co-directors won because I'm in a place right now where like again I've co-directed and I've directed only like by myself. Um, Egos aside, there's no reason to be that one person. So I think it's great when these two guys, the Daniels, can come together and just like egos aside on anything
Right.
because egos don't belong on sets. And you just make something creative together.
And it's good to just share the load. Like
Yeah, yeah,
like when I think of the Wachowskis or the Russos or directors like that where they have to do these very complicated logistic heavy movies, right?
yeah,
And it's just good to have somebody there who understands the weight that's on their shoulders because
yeah,
they have that same weight too, and then you're just sort of bouncing ideas off each other, and then when the ego is not there,
yeah,
you have a collaborator that you can create with, and
yeah. I'm actually about to our mutual friend Eric Claw. I'm just getting into a co-direction with him, and it's a no-brainer because like you're again egos aside, you're not you can only be good things. You share not just share the load, but share the uh uh we all come up together.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't see any of the best picture nominees, right? So you didn't see Avatar, you saw All Quiet on the Western Front. How about Banshees of Inisherin?
I was I was I was the first scene in that film yesterday, and
Yeah.
and then had to get to bed because it was yeah. Anyways, so the whole dad duties were like
Yeah.
time we thought we didn't have. So I watched the first scene of that film, but I love the premise of it, and so I'm really excited to watch it. So
Yeah,
I think
yeah. Oh, it's I mean, if it wasn't for EEAAO, I'm gonna just shorten it from now on. It's a mouthful to say. The Banshees,
hmm,
like I like that actor duo from In Bruges, and just
yeah,
to see that team came back together and made that, and the
hmm,
movie's just so good. Like everybody, all the actors are good in it. I
hmm.
would say watch that. I liked Elvis. It's basically done by the same guy who did Moulin Rouge, so it has that same
That's what I mean.
phonetic.
Yeah, I want to see.
Yeah,
I haven't
but
seen that sadly, but yeah.
oh, it's pretty good. But I think the movie starts getting better by the end, where they go to when he starts gaining the weight and then the makeup starts coming on. That's where I think the
Hmm.
movie really starts. Like the guy is good, the Austin Butler guy. Like at first I kind of wrote him off as a CW actor, but like dude's
Mm.
really like just the way he stands, the way he carries himself, there is just so much confidence and shit. Like
Yeah,
he's so good as Elvis, man. Like
yeah,
he's so good. Sadly, it wasn't its year. Like it completely got wiped out. All
yeah.
of the technical categories went to Western Front.
Hmm.
All the above the line ones went to Everything
Hmm.
Everywhere All at Once. And it's just a tough year for anything else. That's why I'm
Yeah.
so happy that Brendan Fraser won for The Whale.
Yes. Yes. My wife's a huge Brandon Fraser fan, and
Oh,
we
is
were we were
is she?
both yeah, we were both yeah, well, a little bit in tears, like especially my wife, and I think like his whole journey is it's great, and it's just that getting blacklisted and then coming back from it, and
Yeah.
Darren Aronofsky's amazing. It's and I even loved I see her more and more his co-star in that film, like she's and he said it in his speech, like she's super talented, and she slips into these films like here, I'll see her in these films more recently that are so creative, and she's great. So Yeah.
I remember seeing
Happy
her in the
that
Menu. Hong Chow, I believe her
the
name is.
menu. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
she's really good. She's a really good actress. I've seen her in a couple stuff too.
Watchmen. Watchmen was great. She was great in Watchmen. The TV show Watchmen.
Oh, I didn't know she was in Watchmen.
She was the bajillionaire in the Watchmen TV show.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Well,
It was great.
hopefully after this, she like really propels to like more stuff because
Yeah.
she's really good.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with the people who got nominated, man. Like
Yeah, it was a
there
great.
wasn't really
Yeah.
there wasn't any ones where I'm because I think it was last year there were some movies that I watched and they were so boring and
Mm,
so long and
yeah.
so uneventful. Like
Yeah.
the the list of best picture nominees, like I think I've liked all of them, even
Mhm,
Avatar.
mhm. Yeah.
So I didn't fall asleep in any of them.
And
Well,
they all
except for
seem
Avatar.
yeah, and they
Yeah.
all seem it's kind of like a diverse uh diverse in story. Feels like a nice spectrum of stories in these
Oh, I
nominations.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree. Last year was a pretty good year. I mean, even the movies that got snubbed, like I thought the Menu should have been in for like best screenplay because I really like that movie. I don't understand why Glass Onion got nominated. I've come to the conclusion that I don't really like Ryan Johnson's writing.
Oh, well, Glass Onion, I can't say I was a super fan of Glass Onion. I thought it was interesting, but I loved the first one better, or much more. I think it was like more of a mystery, I guess. Um, but it was interesting, Glass Onion. I've honestly I'm the opposite way. I I mean I loved Loopers. I still love it. That's
Yeah,
Ryan
Looper
Johnson.
was okay. Looper
And
was okay.
yeah, and I didn't it was fucking okay. It was awesome. It was a great movie. And I feel like with Star Wars, he I don't know what happened there, but and then I was kind of introduced to Ryan Johnson for the Star Wars thing, and then I realized he directed Loopers, and I was like, oh, he's amazing. And because after Star Wars, like my progression was like I was introduced to him in Star Wars, and then he did Knives Out, and I was like, this dude's amazing. And I was like, oh, he did Loopers. Oh my god, he's amazing. And so I'm like the flip of that. I Glass Onion wasn't my favorite. I was trying to do something, but I this probably wasn't his best, but I liked it.
Well, I got sort of introduced to him in several different ways. One was Brick. I saw Brick like a long time ago because that was like his big breakout.
Right, right.
And I was sort of like had my ear to the ground of new directors that are coming up. It was very well done. The story didn't really grab me. It was like a detective story in high school, and I think 22 Jump Street did it better.
Yeah,
This joke,
yeah.
but then I saw Looper. Looper, I liked. I thought it was okay. There are issues that I have with the story itself and how the
Oh,
time
fucking
mechanics work. I
timeline
do
and
have
all
it.
that shit. Come on,
Look,
get
man,
on
it is
it.
what it is.
Yes.
But as a movie that you just see like once, it's pretty good. Not Ben Affleck, Bruce Willis and
Yeah.
the other guy, they were good.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt was good in it. I did like his other movie, The Brothers Bloom. You should see that if you're like a big fan of Ryan
Okay.
Johnson. I think that was one of his better films.
Brothers Bloom.
Knives Out,
Okay.
I think is his best.
Mhm.
The best thing he's ever done is Breaking Bad episodes. His
Oh
Breaking Bad
shit.
episodes are the best. If
Oh,
you,
dude. I
yeah, look,
love that show. Hey, okay, he did that. Yeah, I'm a bigger fan now.
and that's what got my hopes up for Star Wars when I was going into it, and then I saw it, and I was like, oh, so
Yeah.
we're doing this.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker, who does nothing but try to save his people at all times, risking life and limb to save his father or Leia or Han. And now he's just given up. He's like, no, I don't
Curmudgeon.
think I will save anyone. And for what reason? Oh, his nephew had
Reasons.
a bad dream.
reasons, Link, reasons.
We can
Well,
ignore that,
we can,
but
yeah, we'll have to get in. We'll have to
but
discuss that another time.
yeah, but Glass Onion is definitely his worst. I don't like that film. I
Yeah.
don't think it should be nominated. It is the biggest one on this where I'm like, it's wrong. It's completely wrong. I don't think he
I
should have got
thought,
nominated for that.
yeah, I thought it was trying to do something interesting. I guess I liked what got me with that film was like the characters were interesting. Like Edward Norton was great. Uh but I think it was trying to do something at the end there that was it was like this happened, but then it's like, oh no, this actually happened. It was I actually well in it I was watching it and I thought like I was watching that film and it had a lot of potential that if they did minor tweak at the end, it could have been really great.
When the lead character had like a twin sister and we're following the twin sister and we're like, I was
Yeah.
just kind of like, and then they started like, it started telling the same story but from different points of view, and then it
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
it just pulled the suspension of belief way too tight, and I it just lost me,
Yeah, they should have. Oh, I remember.
completely lost me.
They shouldn't have revealed that she was alive, you know, the lead character, that she wasn't killed until she walked down those steps. Like I think they did like a she was alive and they showed the backstory of talking to Daniel Craig. I feel
Yeah,
like they shouldn't have done any of that. And then she walks down the steps and like, oh shit, she's alive. And then go to the flashbacks. It might have been like an editing thing, basically.
shouldn't have been nominated. It just shouldn't.
Mm,
Like this, I think it was broken from the jump. It was, and what do we end it with? Like this Elon Musk type guy is an idiot,
yeah.
but yet he was okay. So he's an idiot.
Yeah.
But when Janae Monet, I forgot her name, Jeanette Monet, when she
Oh,
brought, when she showed the evidence, the important evidence that would like free her and all that sort of thing,
yeah.
she puts it right in front of the guy's face, in Edward Norton's face,
Right. Right. And
gloating,
he
and
right.
then he burns it right there. Like, who's the idiot there?
Right.
Like,
And Daniel Craig, you know, this is a constructed mystery, right? And
yeah,
that happens. And then after that, I think a little bit after that, Daniel Craig turns to her and he gives her, does he give her a bat or something? Or he basically says, go to town or
yeah, just
something.
smash the
And
place.
she proceeds for like, I don't know, 10 minutes, smashing everything up, smashing all the shit. And then sure enough, everything, you know, Edward Norton for some reason allows this. And then eventually the Mona Lisa is burning down. And it's like this minutia story that Ryan Johnson does, it was reverted to like, I'm just going to smash everything up.
It's
You
like
know,
another Eat the Rich story, but it's
well,
not
I don't
even
mind those.
done. Yeah, I mean, sure, we could eat the rich, but there's
Parasite.
just movies that have done
Yeah.
better. I mean, I think The
Yeah.
Menu is a
The
much
Menu. Oh, fuck. Why
better.
didn't why didn't that get nominated?
That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. That's some politics
Bunch
shit
of
right
rich
there.
people
It's
doing the
politics shit right there.
nominating. That was an amazing film. Oh my god, I didn't even think about that.
How
That
was
was
Ray
so
Fiennes was
good.
fantastic in that? How come
He
he
was
didn't get
he
nominated?
was
That's
you
a
know was
snub.
you know what's great about Ray Fiennes' performance in that was the vulnerability in his eyes. It was like he was both a real villainous character, but at the same time this like child that was like wanting to be a creative person again, you know? It was great. You when
It was
well, yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
you know what it was like when I was watching that movie, I kind of felt like just any sort of creative who has to use his services to for clients, and the clients don't really care a damn about, like,
Yeah.
however, it's basically like a filmmaker who puts his blood, sweat, and tears into a film, and then someone sees it and they're like, eh.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Like, that's kind of what I got from it, and it feels like a very personal sort of story, and it feels
Yeah.
like it has something to say
It
instead
does.
of just, oh, rich people bad. It's like
Damn.
you can tell a story about, you know against like the patriarchy or against, rich people or against this and but the story has to say something more than that. You can't just be like, we're fighting against chauvinism or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, like there's a movie that Olivia Wilde directed called what was that stupid movie? Don't Worry Darling,
Oh yeah.
where it was basically like Stepford Wives but
Yeah. I
dumber.
wasn't a fan of it. Yeah.
Exactly. That so it's like the theme is good.
The
You
best thing about that movie, Link, is like the premise. It's like they're in virtual reality what at night, and then they go and then they log off, sustain their wives or whoever they kidnap, and they go to work. So they have to work to maintain this virtual world. You're like, what is this stupid? Why would you do that?
Okay, so how does this all work? Where do they get these jobs? Did they get hired by Chris Pine, or why would you want to have your wife be catatonic? You know,
Well, and the
like
logistics too. Like she's gonna pee. She's gonna
that's what I'm
you
saying.
you need
Is
to
she in
yeah,
diapers?
you
What like
need
how does
to
this work?
yeah, she needs water. All these things that it's way too problematic to deal with. I know you're all incels that can't get girls or whatever, or can't go, and you're like with Chris Pine, some cult person, but damn, that is some. And then you're working, I think, to what, pay a subscription to him or something.
Okay, so does your wife have a family that loves her and
Yeah,
might want to check up on her or try to find her?
and they
Like what
100% will. Yeah, it's there's too many questions in that movie.
yeah, like
Yeah,
if your wife is missing, I mean, you're the first suspect. So how does that even work?
right,
Like
right.
is the cops in on this?
Yeah,
And if you choose to, oh my God, like I can go down the
yeah.
rabbit hole of this stupid movie. All right, do you want to do your wrap up first or you want to
Oh, sure. Yeah. So, well, I was just like thinking with all the nominees and stuff, a lot of them, a lot of them deserve the award, like actors, the films, and I remember the speech from the Grammys in 2022. I had to look this up because I couldn't quite remember, but is John Batiste. He won best, what, it must have been best album of the year trophy for We
uh
Are.
okay.
And okay, so yeah, so he gave a speech that I was just, it was on in the background or whatever, but he gave a speech that was it really like it kept in my brain. And I had pulled up the quote. He says, I believe this to my core. There is no best musician, best artist, best dancer, best actor. The creative arts are subjective and they reach people at a point in their lives when they need it most. It's like a song or an album is made, and it's almost like it has a radar to find the person when they need it the most. And I feel like I feel that way about films. Like there's no best picture, uh, there's a best collection of pictures perhaps, but like there's, it hits us all in different ways, subjectively.
Yeah.
So I just feel like many of them should have won. I'm happy who won, but yeah, that's just my take on the Oscars and award shows and things. I feel like it's a subjective thing. So
I
yeah.
mean, when you look at the Oscars, it's basically their people of their profession choosing them on like a whatever criteria there is. It doesn't really have the
At
same
the time.
criteria as what we think. Like the
Yeah.
audience will go to it, I mean, sure, the
Yeah.
English Patient might win the best picture, but we're all going to go see Jurassic Park or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's it's definitely a subjective thing. I mean,
Yeah.
sure, there are certain movies better made than others. At the end of the day, I think the real prize is an audience that actually cares
Well, yeah.
and actually feels something.
Yeah. Well, that sees your film, and
Yeah.
that's it. As a filmmaker, at least, like that's the first thing. At anybody
Yeah.
sees your film.
Yeah.
And then awards, great.
It's just the icing on the cake. I think
Nice.
it's having an audience that really connects with your work and really connects with what you are trying to say.
Yeah.
So that's it. And on that note, thanks for listening. Thanks, Peter, for coming through. Hopefully we get to do this again. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, thank you, Link.
So,
Yeah, we've known each other a long time, so I think we could talk forever. So I'd be happy to be back.
all right, take care.
Bye bye.
And we are out.